motherfucking music. You. Are you dumb?
Walk in the club and fuck it up. Ouch, paper cut. For 4 hours standing up.
Like, this is the morgue. And I was like, the morgue? They was like, yes, ma'am. They was like, well, we're waiting on your daughter's body to come through. I'm like, whoa.
This is Kicia Williams, a 12-year-old TikTok content creator who would be found dead just 21 minutes after filming this dance. But before we uncover what happened in those final moments, let me take you back to where it all began. But who was this girl whose final moments would be immortalized on the very platform that gave her a voice? Who was Kicia Williams, and how did a Christmas party turn into a crime scene?
That's your man. No, he not. Cause when you leave, bitch, I'm hopping in your spot. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, my tail.
Born on January 1st, 2004, 18-year-old Kicia Williams was an energetic teenager from Atlanta, Georgia, known to her family and friends as Pinky. She was a student at South Atlanta High School, described by those who loved her as vibrant, passionate, and deeply creative. In the world of social media, she was carving out her own space as a content creator on TikTok under the username @KiliciaWilliams722. Kicia wasn't a global superstar with millions of followers, but she was building something real, something that mattered to her. She had amassed around 3,709 followers, and her videos were getting views, likes, interactions. To her peers, she was famous, a local influencer, a girl who knew how to command attention with her style and personality. Her mother, April Smith, and her stepfather, Romney Savoy, supported her passion for performance and fashion. Though, like any protective parents, they were cautious about her safety in the increasingly complicated world of social media fame. The year 2020 had been a strange one for everyone. The pandemic had locked teenagers inside their homes, stripped them of proms and parties and the normal rhythms of adolescence. Social media became more than just a pastime. It became a lifeline, a stage, a place to be seen when the world felt impossibly small. For Kicia, TikTok was that outlet.
That's your man. No, he not. Cause when you leave, bitch, I'm hopping in your spot. Ha, ha, ha.
I don't like good bitches. They just not it. I only fuck with whores. I'm toxic.
And then came Christmas, December 25th, 2020. Like so many teenagers desperate for some sense of normalcy after months of isolation, Kicia received an invitation that seemed innocent enough. Her friend, known as Infinity, or Finn, was organizing a holiday party. According to Kilicia's parents, they were told it would be a chaperoned, girls-only event, either at an Airbnb or at Infinity's home, with adult supervision to ensure everyone's safety. They had allowed similar gatherings before without incident. But here is where the story takes its first dark turn. The party wasn't at an Airbnb. It wasn't at someone's home. And despite assurances to the contrary, it wasn't a girls-only event, and no adult chaperone was present. Instead, the gathering took place at the Hyatt Regency Atlanta at 265 Peachtree Street Northeast, a detail that Kilicia's parents wouldn't learn until it was far too late.
She was responsible for getting the hotel room for these minors. The hotel room was in her name, so I feel like she should be held accountable for my daughter's death as well.
They didn't learn the group was staying at a Hyatt Regency until they received a horrific call the next day.
Kicia arrived at the hotel sometime between 8 and 9 p.m. on Christmas night, texting her mother to let her know she was the first to arrive. Everything seemed normal, just another teenage gathering, another night of music and laughter and the kind of memories that high school students cling to. But as the night wore on, the dynamics of the party shifted in ways that no one who loved Kicia could have anticipated. Videos from that evening show her with Infinity, but they also reveal something her parents had been promised wouldn't happen. There were boys at the party.
That's your man. No, he not. Cause when you leave, bitch, I'm hopping in your spot. Ha, ha, ha. Yeah, my kid.
At least 2 teenage males were present, directly contradicting the initial assurances of a girls-only event. As midnight approached, Kicia returned to her hotel room. Maybe she wanted a moment alone, maybe she was tired from the party and needed a break, or maybe, and this is what makes the video so heartbreaking, she simply wanted to create content, to do what she loved, to film one more TikTok dance before the night ended. At 12:02 a.m. on December 26th, she pressed record. The footage that emerged shows a girl who looks happy, carefree even. She's wearing a white top and black shorts, moving to a popular track, her movements fluid and confident. And then, suddenly, everything changes. Her expression shifts from joy to shock. She jumps, a genuine reaction of surprise and, perhaps, fear. Someone has entered the room without knocking, without warning. She covers her phone instinctively, and the video ends.
What took place, I need to know what happened after she made that last TikTok video at 12:02 and she was dead at 12:23. I need answers from 12:02 to 12:23.
21 minutes, that's all the time that passed between the moment that video ended and the moment Kicia Williams was pronounced dead. According to police reports and witness accounts, Kicia was shot during what was described as a verbal dispute. The details of what happened in that room remain murky, shrouded in conflicting testimonies and the silence of those who were present. What we know is this: an argument escalated, words turned to violence, and a 16-year-old girl was fatally wounded. What happened next would haunt Kilicia's family almost as much as the shooting itself. 2 teenage boys and Infinity carried Kilicia's body from the hotel room down to the lobby. Not to get her help faster, by some accounts, she was already gone. But for reasons that remain unclear, her body was moved from the crime scene, creating one of the many inconsistencies that would fuel suspicion and conspiracy theories in the months and years to come.
We got an active shooter outside. Active shooter. Shoot.
A woman named Kicia Starkey, a hotel guest from South Carolina, witnessed the scene unfolding in the lobby. She described seeing Kicia being brought down, and in those final moments, she held the dying teenager's hand, offering what comfort she could to a stranger in crisis. Kicia even recorded the EMTs attempting resuscitation, footage that would later circulate online, adding another layer of public trauma to an already devastating situation. Police were alerted to a disturbance at the hotel at approximately 12:27 to 12:30 a.m. When officers arrived, they found Kicia unresponsive, without a pulse. She was rushed to the hospital, but it was too late. The official time of death was listed as 12:23 a.m., though this timeline has raised eyebrows, with some questioning how she could be pronounced dead before police even arrived. And here is where the trauma deepens even further. Despite their daughter being deceased for hours, Kilicia's parents weren't notified until 8:45 a.m. the next morning, more than 8 hours after she was pronounced dead.
Like, this is the morgue. And I was like, the morgue? They was like, yes, ma'am. They was like, well, we're waiting on your daughter's body to come through. I'm like, whoa.
Imagine being a parent who sent your daughter to what you thought was a safe, supervised party, only to receive a call from the morgue telling you they're waiting for her body. For April Smith and Romney Savoy, that call marked the beginning of a nightmare that would never end. But it also marked the beginning of their fight for answers, for justice, for accountability from everyone they believed had failed their daughter.
It was just a lot of foul play, and I'm just trying to put all the pieces together because I don't feel like the system is doing enough work to help me.
The investigation moved quickly. The Atlanta Police Department launched an immediate homicide investigation, and a 16-year-old boy who had been in the room with Kicia was detained at the scene. He admitted to the shooting, claiming it happened during a heated argument. He was charged with felony murder, aggravated assault, reckless conduct, and possession of a firearm by a minor under 18, and he was taken to the Metro Youth Detention Center. Because of his juvenile status, official news outlets like the Atlanta Journal-Constitution and Fox 5 Atlanta kept the suspect's name anonymous. However, community sources, including online forums and a Change.org petition, have identified him as Kyrie Brown, sometimes referred to as KC. These same sources allege far more disturbing details about what occurred in that hotel room. Details that, if true, would transform this case from a tragic argument gone wrong into something far more sinister. The Change.org petition, titled Justice for Pinky, alleges that the suspect sexually assaulted Kicia during the argument before shooting her. The petition claims there were bite marks on her body, evidence of a violent assault that preceded the shooting. It suggests that the shooting itself wasn't just the result of anger, but of rage following an attempted or completed assault. These allegations have never been confirmed by official sources, but they've fueled outrage in the community and online, with thousands demanding a more thorough investigation and harsher consequences.
The petition has garnered over 3,000 signatures and calls for federal review by the Department of Justice, arguing that the case has been mishandled from the beginning. It demands charges not just against the shooter, but against others present that night, specifically Infinity and her mother, the supposed chaperone.
Kicia Williams' parents say their goal is simple.
We just want everyone to be arrested who has something to do with my daughter's death.
The family's suspicions extend beyond just the shooter. They question why Kilicia's body was moved from the room to the lobby. They question the inconsistencies in reports about blood evidence.
The young girl said that they moved my daughter's body because of the blood, but when we got the videotape from the lady from South Carolina, there was no blood. I guess she was bleeding eternally, so it wasn't no blood. So why was the reason did y'all take her from the floor down to the lobby?
Some accounts suggesting there was little to no blood found in the hotel room, despite the nature of the injury.
I seen two guys walking off the elevator with a little girl holding one leg. One was holding one leg and the other one was holding the other leg, and that was saying she had been shot.
They question why hotel surveillance footage from those crucial 21 minutes between 12:02 and 12:23 a.m. has never been made public.
I want the surveillance footage of what happened. You know, who went in that room, who came out of that room, who was all there.
These are not unreasonable questions. These are the questions of parents who were promised their daughter would be safe and supervised, only to have her returned to them in a body bag. The Hyatt Regency issued a brief statement expressing condolences and confirming cooperation with authorities, but citing privacy concerns, they provided no additional details. The hotel's response has been seen by many as insufficient, especially given that the hotel room was booked by an adult for minors, and no verification of supervision occurred. Infinity, Kilicia's friend who organized the party, has faced particularly harsh criticism. The petition and online forums describe her as giving inconsistent statements to police, claiming that Kicia screamed for help, but that Infinity didn't intervene. Reports also indicate that Infinity and another male minor fled the scene before police arrived, raising questions about what they knew and why they left. As for Infinity's mother, the supposed chaperone, who assured April Smith that she would watch over the girls, she never showed up to the party at all. The room was booked in her name, but she was nowhere to be found when violence erupted. For the family, this represents a fundamental betrayal. They were lied to about the location, about the supervision, about the guest list. Every assurance they were given turned out to be false, and their daughter paid the ultimate price.
The demonstration lasted hours, and the family says it's just the beginning of their fight for Pinky.
We want answers! We want justice!
1 month after Kilicia's death, her family and friends gathered outside the Hyatt Regency to honor her memory and demand action. More than 20 people showed up to keep her story alive, to ensure that Pinky wouldn't be forgotten, and to push for accountability from everyone involved. But as the months turned into years, that fight for justice would become increasingly frustrating. In the American justice system, cases involving juveniles are handled differently from those involving adults. The emphasis is on rehabilitation rather than punishment, on giving young people a chance to reform rather than locking them away for decades. This philosophy is rooted in the belief that teenagers' brains are still developing, that they're more capable of change than adults, and that society benefits more from reforming young offenders than from simply warehousing them in prisons. In theory, this approach makes sense, but when applied to cases like Kicia Williams, where a 16-year-old girl is dead and her alleged killer is also 16, it can feel like justice is being denied in favor of leniency. Because the suspect in Kilicia's murder was a juvenile, proceedings were handled discreetly in Atlanta's courts. The public wasn't privy to trial details. No courtroom drama unfolded in the media. Instead, the case moved through the system quietly, away from the spotlight that had illuminated Kilicia's final moments. Reports from 2022 to 2023 indicate that the suspect was convicted and sentenced to 1 year in detention. 1 year. For taking a life, for ending Kilicia's future, for destroying her family, for creating a wound that will never fully heal. By late 2022, he was reportedly released after serving his time, possibly on bond or probation, and presumably with the opportunity to rebuild his life in ways that Kicia will never have. For Kilicia's family and for the thousands of people who signed the petition demanding justice, this outcome feels like a slap in the face. It feels like the system valued the shooter's potential future over Kilicia's stolen one. It feels like her life didn't matter enough to warrant real consequences. But legal responsibility and moral responsibility are not the same thing. And for many following this case, it's clear that multiple people failed Kicia that night. Multiple people made choices that contributed to her death, even if they didn't pull the trigger. As of November 2025, no major updates have emerged in news searches covering 2023 through 2025. The case hasn't seen appeals or retrials. It remains a closed juvenile matter, filed away in the annals of Atlanta's legal system. But while the official case may be closed, the story is far from over. Social media has kept Kilicia's memory alive in ways that traditional media never could. On TikTok, videos analyzing her case continue to circulate, with creators breaking down the timeline, sharing the final footage, and demanding answers. Forums like Lipstick Alley host ongoing discussions about the inconsistencies in the official narrative. The question that haunts this case is simple but unanswerable. Could Kicia Williams still be alive if adults had done their jobs? If the chaperone had actually shown up? If the hotel had verified supervision before allowing minors to check in? If someone had intervened before an argument escalated to violence? If teenagers didn't have such easy access to firearms? Let me know what you think in the comments section. Because if we stop talking about Kicia Williams, if we let her fade into the background noise of true crime content, then those final 21 minutes, from the moment someone walked through her door to the moment her heart stopped beating, will have meant nothing. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.